starting a business is risky, and especially if you don't have the right partners. So you made a bold decision to pack up, left your family here so you can move to Sabah and start up a business, which unfortunately did not work out. So what happened there?
Okay, so once again, I'm a bit of a risk taker, Selena. So when my clinic picked up a little bit, I decided to jump again. So I managed to meet some people who told me that Sabah was, the grass was greener in Sabah. There are more opportunities. You can do medical tourism, things like that. So at that point of time, I wasn't really thinking straight. It sounded really nice. I thought, okay, what the hell, let's just go. So I packed my bags and I went off to Sabah in 2018, right? This was approximately 4 or 5 years after I started off my clinic. And when I went to Sabah, the idea was basically to establish a clinic, potentially something to do with wellness. So that was the idea. Now, for this project, I actually had partners, and this was the first time I actually worked very closely with partners. And that was a huge learning curve on its own. So you are meeting people you don't know. You never grew up with them. You don't know their characters. You just have to trust what they say. And I was not very savvy as well. I did not have people to advise me. I thought, wow, it sounds nice. Let's just go. So going to Sabah, initially, of course, everything is beautiful at first. So it looked very positive. We actually put in some money and we got the clinic up and running. We were doing applications for the license. Everything was going very well, right? We were meeting people and all. Along the way, I had to face something which I think a lot of people have faced as well, where your partner pulls a fast one. Okay, so the promise given to me was there would be funding for the projects that we were doing. I had to run it. Unfortunately, along the way, I found out that that was not true. So there was no funding which was coming in, and we had to sustain with whatever we could make. And it's not easy to start a business in a place you're not familiar with absolutely no funds. So that was a huge letdown for me, Selena, because the clinic just started doing okay. And I was using all of the profits to actually start off this project in Sabah. So I threw a lot of money there. And it was my own money. So I did not take any loan, or I did not borrow from anyone at this point of time. But of course, my partner did put in some as well. But to me, that was everything I had. So I just took everything and dumped in there. So when things went down, of course, there's no way you're going to get your money back, right? Everything collapsed. We had to shut everything. And whether good or bad, COVID hit. So COVID hit at end of 2019, and by 2020, things were already closed. So my last visit to Sabah was during Christmas 2019. I won't forget. That was the last. And during that time. So after that, when I came back, COVID hit, and I met my then partner, and I told him, look, this is not the way I want things to happen. But of course, I don't want to burn any bridges. So I said, I'll just take a step back, just remove me from everything. So that's what happened. But because I spent so much of money, and because COVID hit, my clinic, which was seeing approximately 50 over patients a day, everything just went bust. Nobody wanted to come to the clinic. Because during COVID, clinics was that, I'm only coming when I'm doing a swab. If not, I'm not going to the clinic. So business took a hit. And I had staff. I even had to hire a doctor to run the clinic. And I can't just cut them off, right? We have to pay our staffs. So then, Selena, after 5 years of running the business, I had to take a huge bank loan just to sustain the business. So you can imagine what I was going through at that point. I lost all my money, and I had to take another loan just to sustain the business. So yeah, things were once again not looking too good after that scenario.
But what was your biggest takeaway from this whole experience with business partners, and running clinics? What was your biggest takeaway on this whole experience with Sabah?
So now I can share. You asked me back then, I wouldn't have told you this. So one thing that you need to remember is you cannot trust anyone, Selena. Okay, when it comes to business, I'm not talking about friendship or family. When it comes to business, everything needs to be prim and proper. You got to put everything on black and white. You got to ensure that you have covered all the loopholes, or all the, any possible bad thing that can happen. You need to make sure that you're covered, because business is like that, Selena. It may look very beautiful at first, but when things go down under, it gets really scary. So this is something that I would advise anyone who wants to open a business with partners. Make sure everything is black and white. Protect yourself. Get your lawyers to draft the documents, sign the agreements. Make sure that if anything happens, you are not involved in a negative way. So I give you an example, like my Sabah project, because we took a clinic and because COVID hit, who's going to pay for the clinic? Luckily, I managed to actually put some documents in place on my own, which managed to protect me. Otherwise, I would have to pay for that clinic there as well. Things would have been very bad. So you need to ensure that you are carefully protected or well protected when you want to run a business with partners. And I would say the second message that I would like to share is please properly think before you make a huge decision, like especially opening a business. You got to ensure that you are secure financially. You got to ensure that you have all of your options on the table. So you have a backup plan, a contingency plan. Don't just jump into something because it can be very frustrating or stressful. These are the two things I would advise.
Join Disruptive Doctors. Oh, Disruptive Doctors. Impact.